And we are live with the Speaker Podcast, episode 13 for reasons. And this is going to be an interesting one, also because of reasons.
Yes.
Going to the whole spiel for everything. I've been busy. I've got kids' birthdays going up the wazoo right now. I've got 3 birthdays in like 3 weeks.
It's crazy.
Yeah, which is crazy. And then the following week, whenever we missed the podcast, I was with my kid. That night we had a really bad storm, and it knocked out my internet tower. And I've been without internet for a couple of weeks now. The internet people came in, they looked at the tower, they said, we don't fix these anymore because they're so gosh darn dangerous. 50-foot metal tower on top of my house. So that was last Tuesday. They came by and looked at it. And so said, okay, well, I know that we have Frontier apparently bringing fiber to my area sometime in the month of June. So I said, I'm just going to bite the bullet and wait for that. I have Frontier coming out this coming Tuesday to hopefully look at that and give me some kind of service that I can deal with for now, just to have a normal internet kind of thing going on. But yeah, and then hopefully have fiber and have gigabyte. Sniper is here, finally showing up for the live stream. What's up, Snipe? Good to have you.
Nice.
I'm so glad you're here, honestly, because it's been hectic, and then getting started with the show today also kind of hectic. Sam is having some difficulties.
Technical difficulties. Yeah, that's why you don't see my face. It's for whatever reason, my laptop decided today that today was the day that I wasn't going to be able to use my microphone or headphones. And so, it's like, you know what? We've been 2 weeks without the show. We miss everybody. I'll just use my phone. It's fine.
Here.
So I'm actually still sitting at my desk. I have everything pulled up. I'm just sitting with my cell phone, with my headphones in.
It works. Discord's great for doing stuff like that. So.
Oh, yeah. We can make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in my grandma's house, so a change of scenery. They're gone. She actually took 3 of my kids with her to Waco to go visit my family. I'm down there, so
bless her heart.
Yeah, for real. Brave lady. And I'm not drinking this evening. I have Mountain Dew here. I've been drinking for the last 2 days, including today. My sister-in-law she graduated yesterday, so we all did that, and then partied last night, and then. This morning, got up, went over to my mother-in-law's, had breakfast, and then we've been at the lake ever since.
Yeah,
I've got lake beard right now. Like, my beard's just kind of weird, but
it's like all crispy.
It is. It's weird, and then I'm gonna after we get done with this, head back over there and continue the festivities. So, but I'm so glad to be here. I have dabbled with the new season, and I have a lot to say. I think I'll have even more to say next week if I get internet on Tuesday.
For sure.
Sam, what do you got to say about it?
I am in love with the new solar stuff. So I like Void. I like it a lot. Nezarexin is my favorite exotic for the Warlocks, hands down. Use it for everything. It's so viable. Charges are super. It doesn't matter what it does. But Solar is where my heart is, because when I first started playing the game, always loved the air dodge, loved the idea of having like wings and a glowing sword. I love the lore behind being a Dawnblade. It's so good. They really gave some excellent polish to what it is to have Solar. They kind of gave all of the classes identities, which is outstanding, is what they severely were lacking. Because Solar was the OG for Hunters and the Warlocks. The Titans had got their identity for Solar in King's Fall, but this was like really nice to see it get redone specifically for Hunters and Warlocks, because it went from like, oh, you can self-res or you can throw your grenades really fast, to you now have a set of wings, you're flying, massive damage. And then the Hunters, what they've done with the Hunters is so good too. I've seen a lot of things where people are saying it's underwhelming compared to what they did for Void. And honestly, we had a mod back then that increased Void like tenfold. So kind of just get over it. Solar is great. There's so much to play with. They gave healing grenades to everybody, which means everyone can heal. which means you don't always have to have a Well of Radiance Warlock, but it is a lot easier to run that now. Love the Phoenix Dive as a replacement for a Rift. That's really nice for solo playing Warlocks, because I've been running that constantly on my own, and then anytime I was squared up with a fire team, running Rifts. But I could go on and on about Solar, how great it is right now. I think it's wonderful. Love the new Warlock boots, by the way.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Yeah, you texted me about that immediately.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like, I know that Void has, like, a long time been your favorite. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but I think it's also fair to say, and I don't think it's unreasonable to say, that so far as Warlocks are concerned, Solar has always been the most effective. For especially for end game, just because Well of Radiance, which did get a pseudo nerf, but
it even goes back to Destiny 1,
right? The self,
because if you weren't a self-res Warlock, then you were not in the raid.
Yeah.
But even now, like, we need a Warlock for Grandmasters. Well, if you're not running Well of Radiance, you're not in. We've had people actually get upset with people who aren't running Well of Radiance, but I'm like, that's dumb. Like, you can't expect them to always run something. Everyone likes to run damage from time to time. What they've done is they've really opened that up, and I'm a real huge fan of this snap, because it gives medium power range for the melee, and we still have our cross the map shot, but we now have like a nice explosion to mid range. I would love to see in future an exotic where it lets me charge that melee to a single close range blast.
Oof.
I think that would be super fun, kind of like a handheld supernova.
Yeah. Okay.
But I want to see it stun unstoppable champions.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Because Titans got the barrier
shield,
champion
the new
thing today.
Barrier shield.
I would love to see a Warlock be able to stun out consistently big boys, and then give Hunters the ability to disrupt with Arc. I think they would finish out the nice trio.
That's what I saw a meme the other day. It said Hunters can now do Warlock things, Warlock can now do Hunter things, and Titans are still just eating crayons.
Yeah, but they're eating crayons that are dipped in fire.
I know.
That new move of theirs is a super all in itself. Holy crap. Yeah. If you have not jumped on a Titan literally just to slide and slam on things, you are missing out. It's so fun. Like, I don't play my Titan very often,
right?
But I went in and just crushed some skulls real fast, because the new area on Leviathan, there's so many enemies pouring in from everywhere. It's so satisfying to run up and just kind of ground slam.
Right.
It's wonderful. But
go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. I was going to say, we've missed a couple TWABs, and there's quite a bit to go over.
Yeah,
I don't think we're going to go over all the past things, because it's already come and gone. Suffice to say, the last two patches were literally just about balancing for Crucible and expectations and excitement for what's already out right now. So go ahead and take it away.
So I'm going to start by saying I used my hotspot on my phone. I downloaded the update and I got on and just did a couple of things. I ran around the Leviathan for a little bit, tried to Blood's commenting, and he said he's got nothing, and he's referring to like comments on the season or anything yet. He's got nothing, and he says he can still fly. So yeah, you can still fly, buddy. Let's just calm down.
Yep.
I ran around. I love the Leviathan.
It's so good.
I always love the Leviathan.
It's nice to be back.
It's nice to be back. I really, really hope that they expand on it, and I think they will. It's actually kind of funny. Just before this season dropped on Tuesday at Reset, I was on Twitter talking with a few friends, and we were talking about the dungeon. They were talking about expectations, and I was like, lol, just watch it. We know Leviathan's coming back now. Just watch it be a dumbed down version of the Crown of Sorrow raid or something like that. And then everyone's like, ha ha ha, lol, that'd be so funny. Maybe not entirely, but it's kind of funny that the Crown of Sorrow is actually back.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. But I love how they're pulling that lore back.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a rich piece of lore.
They should bring back.
And honestly, primary. Yes. See, okay, so people keep saying it's like, oh, every season they bring back something that's already been like in the game. It's like, oh, a season of the recycled. Like, yes, sure, they're recycling content, but you know what? That's all they hear from us. All they hear is like, bring back this. Okay,
Yeah.
well, they're bringing stuff back.
Yeah.
They already have assets touched up. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hate on them for always bringing something back when they're doing it so well.
Yeah.
Like, yes, if they were to bring back the Infinite Forest and do nothing to it, I would be upset.
Yeah.
Because that's recycled content.
Right.
Bringing back an old raid that a lot of people probably never did, giving them an experience to go go into those rooms and kind of feel it out. For some of us who did those raids, it feels like, kind of coming home.
Right.
But for those who've never touched that raid or never got to finish it, it's a new way of experiencing something that they only ever really heard about or watched in videos.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool, and I get it. People want fresh new content every single time, but that's just not feasible, man. You can't expect them to churn out bangers every single season.
Well,
you got to make an allowance for those faults.
I don't know that there's, and I hate to say this, everyone listening, and watching knows that I'm this game is very near and dear to my heart. But
yeah,
this is not like, I'm just going to say like World of Warcraft. This isn't like, this doesn't have that player base. And I think if it did have that player base, you would see a lot more of that kind of stuff. But it's still a very specific, very niche kind of thing. Sam and I have been preaching for like, I don't know, over a month now, especially now that we've missed a couple of episodes, but that they're finally figuring out their identity, and again, you can still see that happening, and yes, they're kind of like, I'm known for being the PvP guy, and I'm kind of heartbroken that I haven't actually been able to do that in like 3 weeks. I feel like I'm going to get back on and just be balls at the game, but they're dabbling, dripping in some PvP content here and there. One new map, okay, that's great. I'll take anything new at this point in time.
It's a good map though.
But it looks like a good map. I haven't done it yet again, but it looks good. So far as the PvE content though goes, they've been doing a pretty good job.
Oh yeah.
And this, like, they gave us, like, this is just a season, and they gave us basically a patrol zone. I mean, it's not, Leviathan's a big map, don't get me wrong. It's a huge place with a ton of secrets. It took them months to find all of those hidden chests, back whenever it first dropped. It's just an absolutely monstrous place. And right now they brought back and they gave us probably, I would say, the three most iconic iconic portions of that raid, with the pleasure gardens, the pools, and Callus's throne room. They brought those
the
back.
gardens. The gardens back too.
Yeah. Oh well. See, again, I haven't really been able to do too much.
It's all the encounter rooms.
Oh, all of them are there, huh?
Yeah. All 3 major encounter rooms are there, and then Callus's throne room is there. Yeah. What's missing is the underbelly and the other secret like paths you would take to get to those areas.
Right.
But literally that's it.
Either way, it's still very cool. Being able to go in there and like do some patrols, do some basically public events.
Yeah,
it's very cool. I'm very excited to see where they take this. I know there's a lot of people kind of commenting on, you went this far, but the best thing that a lot of people feel like the best thing that Destiny ever did for PvE content was the menagerie, and I can agree with that to a point.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well, to a certain degree.
Right.
Because it was fresh.
Right, it was, and I, like I said, I agree to a point. I think that the menagerie is such a thing. Like, we just got weapon crafting. I don't see them doing something like that. Like, the entire point of the menagerie was the fact that you could basically farm any weapons that you wanted. And we do have the weapon crafting now, and they did expand on it quite a bit this season. It looks like there's quite a few weapons that are craftable now, that I'm super stoked about. Like, goodness gracious, you talking about bringing Austringer back. Ooh, they brought it back with a bang.
Yeah.
And a bunch, these new the new scout rifle, like these seasonal weapons, they have been killing it with the design lately.
Oh yeah.
This season's armor, I know he'll agree to a point, with the exception of Black Armory armor. I think Sam would agree that this is as a whole, the best armor that we've gotten since Destiny 2 came out.
I would agree.
And whenever I say as a whole, I mean there's not a single one of these armor sets that looks bad, honestly.
Yes, I don't agree with that.
Not the
Have
ones...
you seen the dungeon armor?
Okay, no.
It's Hake themed, so it looks like it's like padded, like big puffy jackets with magazines taped all over it for the warlock.
Oh,
it doesn't look good. Like when you go into a dungeon, you expect it to kind of be themed like that dungeon,
right?
But it wasn't. It's based off of the exotic ship that you get at the end of the dungeon. It's Hake themed.
Well,
and that's annoying. Yes, I would agree with Sniper. Siva themed armor.
Siva, ooh,
bring it back. I will. Well, the Warlocks got a for the corrosive gauntlets. They have a new universal ornament that makes it Siva on it. Yeah, it's friggin' dope.
That's cool. Yeah. I retract my statement then. Like I didn't see that. I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, so the universal ornaments that came out this season, those are bangers.
Dude.
It's the fire and the skulls. Those two, perfect.
Those are so good.
The actual seasonal armor does not look good.
Right.
The dungeon armor does not look good. But you know what? I understand why. Because guess what? How do you get those two sets of universal? Paid content. You have the season pass? Great. Guess what you're getting? Skull armor.
Better go grind that
Also,
pass.
You can go spend silver, and guess what? You can buy the fire armor.
True.
Super cool. Guess what? If you do play for free, guess what you're getting? The normal looking crappy armor for the season. Oh, you have the dungeon pass? Great. Here's some crappy armor and some really, really good weapons. Like, holy crap, man. Those weapons look thick. Cannot wait to get my hands on those. I actually got a really nice roll on a firefighter, the rifle. Love it. Such a good rifle.
The auto
it feels
rifle,
like it feels like a kinetic ringing nail.
I was
got that slow rate of fire.
Yeah.
It hits its mark. It's so good. I cannot wait to see the perk pull on it and actually build one myself.
I was pretty stoked about that scout rifle because it looks like it's going to be like almost like Nameless Midnight, which is maybe my favorite legendary Destiny 2 weapon of all time. It's really, really good. And because it's got the explosive payload and stuff on it, and some precision for it, just looks good. We got a couple of comments here. Blood says, it's not the same as the weapons. Well, looks like I'm skipping. Blood.
No. The weapons are worth getting in and at least grinding for.
I think so. They look dope.
Yeah.
And they got some cool perks.
Yeah, and that's how we all have to band together to get the new fragments. We'll read about that in the top here in a minute.
Yeah.
But the weapons are totally worth it. Just honestly, the story alone is worth it. This story has been amazing. So much lore that people don't realize is in the game is really coming forward. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, armor definitely not worth it, but you know what it is? You can still go back and you can still go get the Grasp of Avarice armor.
Yeah.
And it still runs with those extra mod slots that are still available now. It will look better, but and I want to do the dungeon. I want to get the stuff, and then I'm going to go back to Grasp of Avarice because I'm not. Well, not even Grasp of Avarice. What am I thinking? It's the Galahorn one. Is that the dungeon? Is that called Grasp of Avarice?
Grasp, yeah.
Yeah. I'll go back and grind that.
Sure.
Grinded it quite a bit, but no. And that's my opinion on it. It's behind a paywall. Cool armor is always behind a paywall. That's unless you're talking about Black Armory, then that was kind of a paywall too. But
right.
Whatever.
Well,
Tourist.
we'll move on and actually get into this TWAB now. We're 20 minutes in. I'm sorry, we've got a lot to talk about and haven't been on.
Lots to catch up on.
This whole first section, I'm going to touch on this very very briefly. Sniper, I know you follow me on Twitter. I know you've seen some of my stuff. I know everyone Blood does too. But like, I live in Texas. This situation that we had here in Uvalde, Texas. Uvalde is a little town about, I want to say, about 60 miles from the Mexico border, and it's a town, like that whole area down there. It's a very heavily Hispanic influenced area, a very low income area. A lot of those areas down there are, and there's just situations, and I'm gonna say it. This kid that did this thing, I don't want to talk about his name. I'm not going to mention his name because I'm not glorifying him. He did a terrible thing, and I do have 6 children. You know, I think about this often. I'm very very happy, very pleased to say that my school system, they have all of them here where I live in this little town in Texas. I don't want to throw myself under the bus there.
Right.
They have hard security, and what I mean by that is they have one point of entry in all the schools. I want everyone to be smart about that. One point of entry. That doesn't mean exits. They have exits, but those exits stay locked.
Right. They're emergency exits for a reason.
Exactly. They stay locked from the outside. You can get out from inside, but one point of entry. And if a person sees you, there's blacked out windows where you can't see them, but they can see out. If they see that you're a threat, they're not buzzing you in. You have to have a pretty good reason to get inside of that school during the day. I think that's great. Another thing that they do, and I'm just going to say it, they have a few teachers on staff in each of the campuses that are paid a bonus a year to and paid training to go and to have training for firearms to carry in the school. The teachers that do so they conceal. They don't hold open. It's concealed. You can't see it. I feel very safe with my kids in my school. That being said, being a parent, I went to that graduation last night, and they set the 19 chairs out, to represent the kids. It's very sad. My heart goes out to these parents. There was a man whose wife, who's one of the teachers that died. I don't know if you've heard about this yet, but he about 2 days later he had a heart attack. He was stricken with grief, and he passed away. Left behind 4 kids. It's tragic. I'm just gonna say, there's people out there that need help.
Yes,
they desperately need help. There's help. There's help that you can find in tons of ways, but you need help. And the best thing that you can do if you know that there's somebody that needs help is you can be a friend to them. But if you know that they are a danger to others or themselves, it is your responsibility to say and do something about it. Because at the end of the day, if something does happen, you don't want that on your conscience.
Agreed.
So that's really all I want to say about this. Just if you're a Christian, great, pray for these families, pray for these souls. If you're not, then be thinking about these people. Do whatever you can to help these people.
Right.
Do you want to say anything about it?
Honestly, just as a new father, like this, just hearing all the stuff that's going on and seeing all these things that happen. I actually never went to public school. I was homeschooled my entire life. This just further pushes me to only want to homeschool my son, and then my future child as well. But yeah, no, I'm glad that there are schools like yours that actually take this seriously. And I've seen tons and tons of stuff. And I don't want to get into this too deeply, just because we're talking about a video game here. Yeah. But this first part of the TWAB, they give off like how they feel about this, and just like how they want to support the families, and there's ways of donating to them and everything. But no, this isn't a serious issue that a lot of people are going through, and it's heart-wrenching to see this happen. honestly, it's something needs to happen, but it's not going to happen unless everyone kind of gets on board with it and becomes okay with the fact that, listen, children are our most valuable resource. And I don't mean that as a sense of like, oh, we trade in children. It's like, no. They, they're our next generation. They're our future. We need to take care of them. Sniper says, that's how a school security should be. Hopefully they're not teaching any of that DRT crap.
Sniper, I like where your head's at. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, that's that. I have, well, we'll leave it at that. We're going to get into this TWAB here. 100%. You guys came for video game news and not our opinions on things. But
if you're interested, you can check out the NAMI Foundation and the Jeb Foundation, and that's where you can go to do that. But we will now get into video games. This week at Bungie, we're geared up and set out to answer the ultimate question, the question that matters more than anything else. Is the moon haunted? Well,
yes.
That's for you. That's for you to decide.
No, 100% yes.
Is it still haunted? Yes.
100% yes.
But while you're knocking that around in your noggin,
they're ghosts.
We've got some exciting things to share for Season of the Haunted, including preparing for the next dungeon that drops on yesterday, brand new activities, and even more surprises to uncover. We know the wait was tough, but the team here could not be more excited. Sure, we've got the meme behind the new name, and this season also has us a deeper look into the minds of some of our favorite characters, while also challenging Guardians to find the courage once more and preserve no matter what, especially when facing down twisted nightmares of the past. So, what are we showing off today? Well, how about we start with a second look at the trailer you've all been patiently waiting for. They go on to show the trailer. I'm not going to show the trailer.
Really good trailer, though.
Great trailer.
You should absolutely watch it if you haven't seen it.
That's something I do want to say real quick. This was one of the strangest Bungie releases that we've ever had, just because they really played this one close to the chest. And I mean, up until they tweeted out one day, we're going to have a trailer tomorrow, and then somebody went and leaked all that stuff. So Bungie said, I bet, and then they released it all. But even after that trailer, we didn't know much. They did a great job with that. That's how trailers should be. That's all I'm going to say.
I say that, but also, why would you wait so long to put out a trailer for something like this? Like, in my opinion, why don't you get the hype train rolling like a week ahead of time, or a couple of days ahead of time? Like, just slowly drop. Like, here's what the armor looks like. Here's what the weapon looks like.
Yeah.
How about a little more? And just like kind of tease us along the way, so that we can actually, we finally arrive.
Well, yeah.
It's just that much more satisfying.
I don't think they need trailers for that. I think they can do that with key art and stuff. For sure. Like, here's a picture, they've done that before. Here is the Warlock armor, and then the next day here's the Hunter armor. You can do that and do a great job of it. But overall, I think it's interesting, but I understand that people were frustrated by this, and I do get that. I do, but I don't think this is going to be the be-all, end-all. I think that they were playing around with something new.
Yeah, and I think that they're gonna look at their numbers. They're gonna look at what their fans are saying. Like, they've been really listening to us recently, and not just me and Legend personally, though we do have them on speed dial. It's just they've been listening to their fans, and honestly, that's a very comforting feeling right now.
Word.
So
okay, well. In addition to the new Crucible map and Rift's return with the Iron Banner rework, which you can read all about here, there's a link, Season of the Haunted comes with even more adventures to dive recklessly into. Callus is back in the spotlight as Leviathan returns and begins to wreak all sorts of havoc in the most devious of ways. We'll get to buddy up with Eris Moore and stop Callus in his quest to connect with the Witness. You remember the Witness, right? The big bad that even had Savathun running scared. Yeah, the Witness is still making its mission to become everyone's problem, which means we've got to work fast to get the answers we seek and uncover the sinister reality that lurks beneath the surface. Season of the Haunted dives deep into the philosophy of what it means to be the duality of existence. Do you see what they're doing there, Sam?
Yeah, that's a gun. It's a gun they made.
No, do you are you? So they highlighted those words, be and duality. They're boldened. So they were like kind of leaking the name of the dungeon at that point in time.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Good, because it's about to get intense. With the new season comes new activities as well. Let's start with the weekly mission, Sever. Sever challenges a team of up to 3 Guardians to navigate a seedy underbelly of the derelict Leviathan to battle it out against hordes of foes to find and sever Callus's power. His connection with the nightmares that he can control is strong, sure, but we're stronger. At least we hope so. And then there's an interesting little picture of Aldrin there. Doing some stuff with the seasonal artifact. Yeah, that's Aldrin.
I also want to point out that they're at this point in the game, your character has killed 3 gods.
Yep.
Stopped planet-wide destruction. I don't know how many times. Saved the galaxy maybe 3 times. Saved humanity from the brink of extinction with the Red War. Like, the moon being haunted is not going to end us, hippie. Like, oh, I hope we can pull this off. Well, if that was your hope, then you wouldn't have written all of Lightfall. That's not clever writing. That's just annoying.
Dang, Sam throwing some shade. I like it.
I just...
The second activity is called Nightmare Containment. This is a free-to-play public event aboard the derelict Leviathan that is designed to be just as chaotic as it is fun. Take on intense battles against Cabal and Scorn and dive a little deeper into the nightmare reflection of our world. The team is excited about how this activity will play out through Season of the Haunted. Nightmare Containment is specifically designed to be always worth the player's time because it scales depending on the number of Guardians participating. More Guardians, faster boss burns, and even more loot potential, which is cool. It's cool they did that.
I actually like how that's set up. It does reward based on the amount, and it scales like the difficulty based on how many Guardians are there.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about it yet.
The most annoying part is when people spawn into the world and the whole thing scales up 1 and the person leaves the area. It's still scaled up.
It's one of those.
I'm pretty sure they're going to fix that problem, but man, that was annoying. Yeah.
By now, most of you have discovered the Scythe, the relic that makes taking on Season of the Haunted, Sever missions, and the Nightmare Containment activity even more impressive. If you couldn't tell, heavy metal music and the idea behind becoming a damage-dealing Reaper were both heavy influences of the season, and the Scythe very much reflects that, so how does it work? As you may already know, Guardians are going head-to-head against some impressively intimidating nightmares, so this heavy-swinging beauty comes in handy with its flaming projectiles that can be launched at any foe. Use the Scythe to fire those fiery fireballs to prime to prime enemies for that delectable 1-2 punch move that is designed to go in and cause a particularly stylish form of mayhem. Rip and shred through enemies and throw those horns up. It doesn't get more metal than that.
The Scythe is incredibly smooth to use.
Yeah,
it's so good. And they show, like, I think the next part of the TWAB right there is they show like what the attack chains and stuff are. It's so crisp. It honestly feels like you're swinging a sword that's like twice your body length. Covers so much room, and again, there's hordes of enemies pouring out. It's so crisp to just slaughter your way through. It's wonderful.
Nice. Light attack, a horizontal slice that launches out a wide solar projectile, 4-hit combo. Hitting enemies with the light attack projectile scorches them 30 plus 20 stacks and deals damage. The light attack also does melee damage to nearby targets when the player swings. Air attack launches out a single solar projectile with a cool spinning slice. Same projectile as the light attack, just with more aerial flair. Heavy attack, slam the slice into the ground and send out a fan-shaped group of AoE flame damage. Hitting enemies with the heavy attack scorches them 50 plus 40 stacks and deals damage. Scythe perk. When you defeat enemies with the Scythe, you spawn orbs of healing solar light that float back to you and grant restoration +2. Very, very cool.
People also don't realize that it actually builds up your super energy while you use it. They don't list it there, but as you get kills with it, like successful hits with it, builds up super energy.
Like its own super or your super?
No, your personal super.
Okay.
So as you're playing around with it, like, first off, if someone on your team hasn't grabbed it, it's totally worth your time to grab it unless you're specifically working towards weapons. Because once it's in your hand, you can just start ramping up your super, and it's so good.
can't wait to check it out. I really can't. A new dungeon. New dungeon. Who dis? A new dungeon has arrived, and yes, it definitely puts a new spin on an existential crisis. Normally, this is where we reveal all sorts of new information for the TWAB readers out there, but in the spirit of this season, we want you to experience it for the first time with a feeling of discovery. Believe us when we say that we couldn't be more jazzed up to hear your thoughts. Also, don't worry, the wait won't be long. The new dungeon arrives tomorrow, yesterday, the 27th at 10 a.m. Pacific. So, it's out. People have been grinding the heck out of it.
I haven't even touched it yet. That's actually what I will be doing when I get off this.
Nice.
I will say this, and I have 2 cents about the dungeon.
Okay.
Aside the gear, aside from everything else with it, I am not a fan of how they decided to extra monetize the 2 dungeons coming this year.
Okay.
I feel like if you bought the season, then you should have access to it.
Right.
That's just my opinion. But at the same time, I understand they're trying to make some money. But at the same time, they also just got bought out by Sony, so, you know.
They have quite a bit of money.
You got some cash to spend, yes. But I also understand that now that Sony owns them, Sony wants to see like a little bit of cash greenback from their investment.
Right.
And we're probably going to see, this is just a random prediction, I could be totally off base by this, but I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more randomness in how they decide to handle things moving forward. Because when you acquire something, you want somebody on your board of directors to go sit down and like kind of give some advice on things.
Yeah.
We're probably going to see someone come from Sony, like, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try this? And it might be like off the wall stuff, or it might like really stick and land. But we're probably going to see things that we wouldn't normally see at a Bungie that's kind of like a little strange for them to do more often until they finally get them off their back and they're like, okay, yeah, do your thing. That's just my 2 cents on it. But
Sure.
again, I don't like they're nickel and diming for the dungeon.
Yeah.
I
hear that.
I feel like it should just be, if you bought the most recent expansion, if you bought Witch Queen, you get it. But that, again, totally my own personal take on that. I'd be very interested to see what you guys have to say in the comments. I'll read them and I'll write back. But yeah, I that's my feelings.
Yeah, I hear you. A quick rundown on hauntingly fresh new gear. With every season also comes new ways to show off that customized Guardian style, and Haunted is no different. From a haunted aesthetic to getting in touch with your inner Eris more, and here's a closer look at some of the different looks that you can make your own. Can we also just take a second to appreciate the Nightmare seasonal armor ornaments, because wow, and I totally agree, we've talked about that already. There's your Eris Morn theme stuff. I'm gonna say it looks better than the original like moon armor. I will say
agreed.
That moon armor was awful. This looks better. Yeah. Then there's this. What did they call it? The just the Nightmare seasonal armor ornaments. Dude, God dang it, man. Those are hot. Yeah. Those are so hot.
Looking fresh.
This looks like, I'm just gonna say it, this looks like Destiny 1 right here is what this looks like. And I hope that we see this continue. Whoever designed this, you killed it, man. God, makes me so happy and excited.
I hope for their sake this wasn't the same person who also decided that they wanted a pinball on top of the Titans for Season of Opulence, because you did not do a good job with that. This has only redeemed you slightly, but it would completely absolve you if you also made the Black armor. Just saying.
I'm just gonna say I don't think that was you though. I think that whoever designed the Black armor, I think that is this person.
What they've done is they've ascended to a higher plane of existence, and we don't deserve them. The person who made the Black armor. That's what I'm saying.
The Season Pass also includes a new seasonal ornament for Trespasser, new shaders, emotes, and more to unlock simply by playing Destiny 2, which is great. As shown off in our official reveal trailer earlier this week, here's a small recap of some of those rewards. This, again, going with the same theme as the Nightmare ornaments, this Sparrow looks great. Very creepy looking Sparrow. Got your Ghost Shell. The Trespasser ornament looks stunning. That is an ornament done right. It actually kind of changes the aesthetic of the gun.
Yes. It's not a shader.
It's not a shader.
It's an ornament.
Exactly. Very good. I like that. And the reason I say that is because typically what you get with the seasonal exotic weapon is basically, as Sam just said, an ornament.
The shader.
Thank you, a shader, not an ornament. A shader. You essentially get a shader.
It's a palette swap. It's something stupid.
This is a full-on, totally changed thing. This is great. I like this. So, trying to move kind of quickly here. Solar 3.0 fragment details and new solar armor ornaments, just like Void 3.0. Aspects and fragments will be your best friend when exploring unique new playstyles, perfecting existing combat choices, or just going ham on a new iteration of a subclass that maybe hasn't fit your niche in the past. The choice to dive all in that fiery action is yours, but we may be biased here. Solar 3.0 is pretty darn nifty, so we hope you check it out. Plus, you can quite literally fight fire with fire. Who doesn't want to do that? And then they show off the new solar armor ornaments, which, just like the void ones, these ornaments look great too.
I'm really digging the solar look.
Yes, same.
For everybody. It looks nice.
It makes me happy because I think everybody has a very special place in their heart for those old Iron Banner ornaments from Destiny 1 that had the fire.
Yes, the wolf.
The wolf and all that. And you get that feeling from this armor, so it looks great.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping they dig out some new armor for Iron Banner this season.
I think they said they were supposed to. Yeah, we'll see. By now, many Guardians have already started diving into what Solar 3.0 means and for new combat possibilities. Just like with the Void 3.0, Solar's revamp can be done through Ikora and the Tower before meditating at the kiosk near her to lock in the newly learned disciplines. You may or may not have noticed that there are a few select fragments that are locked. Don't worry, it wasn't Telesto this time. This is actually intentional. Since we're on one team, one fight type of bunch, there are 4 fragments that can be unlocked via the community working together. How? Glad you asked. Guardians can unlock additional fragments for Solar 3.0 by completing a number of nightmare containments. Each Guardian that fights the good fight will count as a completion, so having a full fire team that is focused on the objective will benefit groups greatly because double the progression for the team of 6 versus, say, a team of 3. The goal is to hit 20 million completions as a community. When we hit that goal, those 4 3.0 subclasses will be unlocked and ready to pick up via Ikora. That being said, there is one thing to note about fragments. There is some confusion during the launch of the Season of the Haunted, and we wanted to explain what happened and what is intentional. The 4 locked fragments were always intended for this particular community-driven initiative, but there was a small hiccup on day 1 to clarify this. The 4 fragments that will unlock after the above community effort are Ember of Empyrean, Ember of Char, Ember of Ashes, Ember of Wonder. However, some players reported being able to receive some of these early. This is connected to something the team found in their investigation that allows early access for veteran players who have previously built into the solar subclasses, whereas newly created Guardians still have these locked. This has caused some players to unlock Ember of Ashes and Ember of Wonders, which are intended to be locked. Also, some players were unable to acquire fragments that should have been unlocked for everyone at the start of the Season of the Haunted. Those players were not able to receive 2 fragments, which were meant to be available on day 1, called Ember of Eruption and Ember of Searing. The team has made the decision that they don't want to remove any fragments from people who have unlocked them, and the goal is for all 6 fragments to unlock when we hit the community goal mentioned above. We're sure it'll happen in no time. Fire can't be tamed, and apparently there is also true in Destiny. So there you go. There's just another look at those armor ornaments in action. Again, very cool. And it's interesting they decided not to take it away from people that already had it. I feel like there's definitely going to be some people that feel like they have an edge with those.
There's not.
No?
Because here's the thing. Where would you have that edge? There's no Trials of Osiris. There's no Grandmasters. And there's no...
Okay.
Raid's first dungeon. There's nothing right currently in the game that would be air quotes broken by unlocking 4 fragments early.
That's fair.
There is nothing competitive going on, and the amount of work it would take for them to take it out is going to be undone by the fact that this is going to be over like 2 weeks.
Right.
And I guess that might be why they made that executive call, because the amount of time it would take for them to be like, okay, we'll take this out, we'll put this back in, yada. It's just so much simpler just to leave it in.
The way these updates work is, if you are unaware, whenever they develop a patch for a game, they have to deliver that patch to each each developer. So Sony, Microsoft, Steam, whoever does Steam, they have to release a version of that for them to look at themselves, make sure that everything is okay, and they have to authorize it before the patch can go out. So that's why patches, they'll release patch notes one week, and then they'll release the patch the following week. They'll tell us about it kind of in advance and say, hey, this is what's happening next week. We're probably getting a look at it. And that's not to say that every now and then they won't be able to go through and sneak something in. But Sam is probably right about this. That like there's just not really a point in like nerfing it right away, I guess, you know, like yeah. So there's also the new solar Sparrow, which, you know, kind of cool looking. That ship, however, looks outstanding. I do like that ship a lot.
All the flames coming off of it.
Yeah. Well, just the ship in general. It just. I'm just gonna be real with you. I recently watched. Since we don't have internet, we're going through like all of my old anime DVDs with the kids, and we recently watched The Vision of Escaflowne, and
oh, there you go.
And I'm getting. I don't know why, but like I kind of get some of the Dragon Mode Escaflowne vibes from this.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Iron Banner shenanigans. In case you missed it, we previously shared a ton of news about Iron Banner and explained some of the reasons behind its most recent evolution. If you missed that memo, you should mosey on over to the previous breakdown right here, linked. But the gist is that we want to make Avalis Forge's competitive event feel more like, well, an event. Because of that, we're amping up the ante and moving the event frequency to just twice a season, May 31st and July 12th. To spread the might of the Iron Wolves, Valis Forge will now be in front of center and Ava Levante's usual spot. So you ain't got to go out of your way and waste all of that time jumping up to that, you know, second level. He'll just be right there on your spot.
Yeah.
We're also disabling power level. I have feelings about that. As soon as I get back into the game, I'm going to talk about that. But not right now. So that sweet gear you've been holding on to, you can go ahead and dust that off. Iron Banner also comes bearing a new PvP map alongside Rift. The new map called Disjunction will be available for all modes, though Rift is just for Iron Banner until Season 18. We think you'll really enjoy this new area, and it's not just it's not just for the intended design that allows for more ways to strategize. Not only does it continue the Throne World theme, but it also is one of the largest maps we've ever had in PvP. It'll be a good time, but we'll also be keeping our eyes peeled for any feedback. So, cool. Again, haven't been able to check it out yet. I'll check it out very soon.
But I do like the new map. It is very nice. I do like the idea that they're bringing back an old game mode, and that the game mode is specifically locked to Iron Banner. It keeps it fresh. It's going to keep it exciting. It's going to give people another reason to go play it. And I think the reason why they're giving off, they're not doing the whole power level stuff. First off, it's not approachable for everybody.
Right.
And I hate that. I hate using the word approachable. Because I'm a huge Souls player, and people always complain about how those games are not approachable. They are. Just get better at the game.
Get good, scrub.
Right. I mean, just learn to play a game differently. I understand, like, whatever. That's a different game. Anyways,
I will be putting a video out about that, by the way.
Yeah, well, I'll have me as a guest. So when it comes to Iron Banner, there was never really an incentive to do it because, sure, there was a couple good loot things and some pinnacles. Once you hit your pinnacle cap, there was no reason to go grind in there unless you really, really enjoyed fighting in PvP. For players who, like my dad, when he first started playing, he wanted to do Iron Banner very badly, was getting absolutely crushed. And he's somebody who does not do a lot of PvP. He goes and plays Vanguard and does okay there, but Destiny's a whole nother monster in and of itself. I understand why they're doing that, but we are going to see a lot of recluses and mountaintops come back. We're going to see a lot of kind of bullies kind of show back up in PvP, and that's kind of worrisome. But I mean, again, we're going to see this for a little bit. They're going to figure out a way to kind of like change it up, and then they're going to implement some changes. But I am excited to see how this kind of falls out.
Same.
Not falls out as in a bad way, but like falls out and like, yeah, I'm genuinely excited to see how this, this works.
Word. Yeah, I'll try to work on that video. Actually, you know what? I'm off of work Monday. I'll probably get that video out. And
Monday's Memorial Day.
Yeah, that's my point. I'm off of work.
Oh, I was thinking it's a holiday, day of rest, man.
That's what tomorrow's for. I'm
That's true.
with you. All right. This next section is just about the GCX competition, and they show off a couple of ornaments that you can get there. Not ornaments, I'm sorry.
Banners.
Banners. Thank you. Yeah, emblems. They look cool. They both look very cool.
Yeah.
I like both of them. Yeah. And then of course we go over the player support, the hot note, the patch, the notes, and stuff like that. We're gonna skip all that, and then finish up with more emblems. Oh, movie of the week emblems. Yep. All right. My God, there's so much here. They're talking about Guardian games. This is actually a pretty thick twab.
It's just a lot of like filler stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had their live action thing for the Guardian games, and they list off who won with those and the teams that are getting the trophies and stuff. And
Right.
I mean, yeah, if you were interested in that, by all means, you've probably already read the TWAB. If you were interested in that level of stuff, you're probably not listening to us talk about it.
I'll say this: Guardian games, Warlocks won. We all know why. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Big support energy.
I happily support all of my Warlock mates.
Yes, you should.
Before we let you
up till
go,
now we controlled the healing.
I like that. I like what you said there. Before now, I like that. I like that. Before we let you go, we've got some exciting things coming down the pipeline, including Solstice of Heroes, and now just called Solstice, which, okay, cool. Dropping in July alongside our annual Bungie Day celebration. We'll also have more details on both of those events in the near future, but for now, we've got some existential dread to conquer with some nightmares to face. We have been loving all of the feedback and excitement you've been sharing. It's been great to see Guardians worldwide severing the nightmares and facing the next step of Destiny 2 journey. From cosmic horror to the duality of the human experience, our grief, our individual trials and tribulations, our hope. These are heavy themes, and we wanted to provide a heads up on, but each thematic thread weaves into a beautiful story that we can't wait to watch you all experience as this tale unfolds. We're just getting started, so hold on to your butts, Guardians, and it's going to be one heck of a ride. While you dive all in, just a friendly reminder to drink your water, take your vitamins, put your kindest foot forward. We've got some nightmares to confront. I should go love hippie. So that is your TWAB for the 26th, for May 26th. Sorry, I got my dates mixed up there. I almost said March.
I had to point out there, take the heroes out of our solstice. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, it's just called Solstice now. No more heroes.
Everybody needs a hero, man.
This is, it's funny you should say that. I'm going to close this baby up. Hippie says some things there. From cosmic horror to the duality of the human experience, our grief, our individual trials and tribulations, and our hope. We are all very, very, very divided right now, and I can't
Agreed.
I can't stress enough how important it is to just be kind to one another and to just honestly just remember that people are human.
Yeah. They didn't choose to be a hunter.
I did. I absolutely
This is
did.
a serious moment.
And this is
a serious moment. I ruined it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No. Seriously, though, look, I hate. There's been a lot of stuff lately. There's been a lot, and it never stops. Okay, it never stops.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to keep on going.
Yeah.
This road's not stopping. Anytime. This road's going to keep going. And there's this old phrase. Strong men make good times make weak men make hard times make strong men.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say I don't think we're actually in the hard times yet. I think that they're still coming. And I hate saying that. That terrifies me. Yes, it terrifies me because I have 5 little boys and a daughter that are getting ready for this world.
Yeah.
I'm saying all of that to say, if you're a parent, if you're a brother or a sister, if you have any kind of bearing on the lives of children, as myself being a parent, as Sam being a parent, as I know Blood watching, he's got nieces and nephews that he takes care of and he loves very much.
Mm-hmm.
We need to start accepting responsibility for our actions, and we need to start teaching our kids to do the same. That's
Agreed.
the only way any of this is going to change. It's not going to change any other way. I explained it to my kids last weekend. Not having the podcast on Saturday, I took 2 of the boys out to the shooting range. That's what he wanted to do for his birthday. I'm like, heck yeah, man. That's what we're going to do. Took them out. We did that. Got haircuts. It's great. I did that. Also, I used that as an opportunity to teach my kids something. Because I took the long rifle. It shoots at 100 yards. I said, son, you're going to point that rifle towards the target. That target, that is an action. But what's behind that target is a consequence. And what I mean is he has to know what is around him and what is beyond what he's aiming at. And he has to know that once he pulls that trigger, he cannot unpull it.
Yeah.
Our kids need to know that their actions have consequences and that those consequences are sometimes life-changing for everyone around them. I know I'm getting deep right now, but I feel like I need to. I do, like, I'm not getting political, okay? I'm not saying what side you should be on. I'm just telling you to start teaching your kids that they are responsible for their lives and that they need to act on that responsibility.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, I feel strongly the same way about you with how you handle stuff. It's like, yeah, everything is a teaching and learning opportunity. But at the same time, like, yes, like, I agree with what you said about how strong men make times easy, easy times make men weak, just all those things. It doesn't have to do that. We can live a life and, you know, continue to be an example to our children by just living a good, morally just life. Like, go throughout your day, be kind to others. I opened the door for people. I'm a big, intimidating guy. I'm 6'2", 310 pounds. I'm a big man. I'm a bouncer at my bar. People see me like, oh, okay. But once you get to know me, I'm very kind. I want to be. I fire some sharp barbs, but you know what? That's my personality. But I also own up to what I have to say. I made a comment about a coworker being annoying and didn't realize he was standing behind me. And he tapped my shoulder and he's like, what did you say? I'm like, oh, I was asking if everyone thought you were annoying. To his face. Now, I shouldn't have done that, but I'm not the kind of person to talk behind someone's back without talking about the same thing to their face. And to get back on track with this whole thing, it's like, no, be a person of integrity. Have a conscience. And just, like Legend said, understand what's around you. If you're going to do something and your children are watching, try to take the high road on it. Because what they're seeing is their parent doing something, and that's going to, you know, you're their whole world for right there in that moment. So, anyway, this has been a conversation about a video game.
There's been a lot in every facet of our lives. People talk about they opened it with it, they kind of closed it with it. So yeah, but I think that's gonna do it. I don't think we don't need to do any anime or
any fancy
movies.
stuff.
Nothing like that this week. We'll get back more on track next week whenever Sam gets his stuff figured out. Well, me and him will get together early, make sure everything is actually good to go. I should have internet by then. You know, maybe not.
That's the hope. And I would love to do a dungeon run with you, and then maybe we get some people in from our audience here. Yeah. After a TWAB one night and just run through the dungeon.
For sure.
Get some quick dungeon runs in with everybody. That's something I'd be down for. If you guys are down for, just sound off in the comments. You know, we'll get that going next week.
100%.
You know, Blood, I see you in there. You know, absolutely, you can come do a dungeon run with us.
Great looking weapons.
Come back and do a dungeon, bro. We need you.
I love you.
Blood, come back. We miss you.
Sniper Blood, thanks for being in the comments tonight.
Yes.
Thanks for jumping in. Please like it, share it on your social medias or whatever. We're trying to keep this thing going, and we will continue this next week. But for now, guys, I think that's it. Sam, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, see you Starside Guardians.
Yeah. Have a good night.